Hey Aries, welcome to your reading. All information to work with me one-on-one is below, as well as the information for the second part to the videos, which I highly recommend. They are $5 on Patreon every month. You can also just, purchase one at a time. I have no link for that yet, but that is in the link below, as well as the information to contact me to either have a reading, and I also do astrological life coaching, amongst other things. Take a look at that. All that information is below. So happy new year, astrological new year. Happy spring equinox. Happy Aries season. This is literally the first day. We're just doing it. Because here's the thing. Now, we may have thought, maybe in general, people think coming into Aries season is very inspired and fire, and I'm going to feel great and I'm going to act, and, right, we also have to remind ourselves to not be in burnout, to not overdo it this month. And how do we know that? Well, there's still a lot in Pisces right now, and Aries is not bringing the direction to that healing that's happening, right? Whether it's physically, whether you've gotten sick last month, whether you're going through something emotional as well as mental, whatever pattern is being accentuated in whatever form that pattern is being accentuated right now, everyone's shedding to an extent. But burnout can happen. Overpromising can happen. Tell me, any Aries or Aries placements that you know, right? Anyone that I know works a lot, whether they love it or not. And if they don't love it, they're exhausted. If they do, they can just go and go and go, and they just find this pure inspiration. Coming right out from this Pisces season, it may feel like a slow start. I thought I fixed this. I'm sorry. Sorry if this happens. I'll figure it out. Being able to start new. Whether you're in something established, there's something that you might want to start new at this point and be seen for at this point and in this way. And well, we have the eclipse coming up as well. The eclipse is right around the corner. It's on the 25th, and this is the start, and then the Aries eclipse is on the 8th. So we have a 2-week time period, but this is an energy that's come from Libra season 6 months ago and will accentuate and extend to the next 6 months. So it's something poignant, right? But for not everyone will experience it in full on that day, if that makes sense. So the full moon coming up, what's being exposed for you, what's being shown to you, is that this is bringing out a part of you that has even more livelihood, even more to offer, even more the light. Even when the light goes out, right? Even when it goes out, you're able to deal. Tower in reverse. Whatever's happened, the worst that's happened is in the past. And for a lot of you, that's a sigh of relief. For others of you, you're just seeing the effects of it now. And what I meant by the action-based and then reverting to the healing is that whatever emotion or whatever you're feeling through or whatever you're noticing mentally, physically, you're now going to start to see them. If you're, aware of this, you're going to start to see how that physical thing affected you mentally and emotionally, and then, or vice versa, right? You're going to see how this emotional thing has affected you physically, mentally, connecting those, exposing those, and showing you what situations, maybe you weren't that great for you. And now it's like the change of the situation, the change of what's happening. You're seeing and exposing yourself to what's real, and the action. We talk about this a lot with you, Aries. I talk about this a lot in general, I feel. But I feel like you're going to really be in touch with this specifically this month. Something that I like to, beautiful. Here are the cards. Healing through cycles, healing and through also being exposed to yourself, exposed to the world, being seen. So this month you may be seen more. for exactly what you're moving through mentally and in your heart. You may see what has been, what kind of was like touching you, and meaning like the insight, you started to feel something bubble up just like a month ago, almost a month ago now. Yeah. And it's now moving through you in a way where you can see what you didn't know before, right? You didn't know before. And now that you know, the feelings are now occurring. The revelations of those feelings, the realization of those feelings, being able to see, okay, so we go from Leo to the Virgo card, right? Being able to see the full circle of it all, from the conscious to the subconscious, how it's affected you physically. Can you look at yourself and see the heaviness falling off of you? Do you notice that? Do you notice the shedding as we start to enter this fire time? The heat is coming back, especially for those who just experienced winter, is what I literally mean. The joy and the action you want to take now will very clearly direct you to the parts of you that are being healed, especially with your inner child. This is the child. This is the birth of the child. And you may even be literally birthing a part of you, a creation, meaning like you're stepping out and into and being seen for yourself, not just your past, not just what you went through, not just your issues. If those are things that have been prominent, right? That's can be a lot of people. And what you recognize maybe about yourself, and I see this in children that I've worked with often, is that, and even adults, honestly, but I think it translates to our mind more, is that if a child can't relax or sit still, usually there's some big emotion happening. This is one of many things it could be, but what I've seen, even within myself and with other adults, is like there's something big that's happening, and there's a feeling that you won't feel, or you don't feel safe to feel. And perhaps it's your body subconsciously doesn't feel safe. And now something was created, and it could have been even with a Leo, of course, or it could be something that's been being resolved since last summer. Even beyond the Libra, it went all the way back to the summer. That you're now experiencing the positive effects, even though it may feel painful, or it has felt painful. This, for some of you, could have been a move or a breakup, or just being revealed to you how love and money are connected, and how they relate, and how they show up in your life, and you see how they're connected. And you see how the struggles are connected, and the positives can be connected as well. You could be also experiencing a time in your life where you need to seek out a mentor, someone who can help you see these things with a pure, open heart, in a way where you won't be judged, where this is the card that fell out. Because this is really bringing you to, and it's just like, well, this is a very internal month, right? Well, there's still more to come. It's not. You'll be seen for these changes. Even though internally it'll happen, Aries, people are going to see you and acknowledge you in a way where that might not be acknowledged, the shift, but you'll notice it. And maybe you'll have those conversations with someone like, yo, like, people are seeing me differently. I'm getting different compliments. I'm receiving different feedback. I see myself showing up without what has happened to me. And I'm not saying that those stories aren't relative and your story isn't relative. It's just that you are experiencing a birth in a way. And that's why I feel like I don't know, I felt so drawn to come sit down immediately. You're making space, and it's funny because this is interesting. So especially for you Aries moons out there, you're also making space, and well, I'll touch on Aries risings too. The sun signs, you're literally moving towards and growing in the way you're supposed to, even if it doesn't feel like it right now. I want to tell you that you're being shifted and directed. The feeling is uncomfortable because it's new and different in this specific way. And also, you know, for the Aries that you know out there, and if you're watching for an Aries, like, just know that if they're completely exhausted, that means they're unhappy with their work. Whatever, or their creative inspirations, their hobbies, whatever it is. If they are working and they are, you know, continuously filling their cup and on the move, they're tired, but they're having a good time. That's how you know that they're in their space. You know, it's not, some people get into that place, but then they chill. But these are the kind of characters that have these, and people who have, and signs who have these hobbies, and they'll constantly be drawn towards them to refuel them too. Because why work hard if you can't play? And that's how they relate to Capricorn and Sag, and the fire signs, how they all relate too. But I feel like Capricorn's in there, but they like to chill big time when they get the chance. What is also shifting about you is that you may find that you do need some space and time this month, especially as we get towards that eclipse, especially the Aries new moon solar eclipse on the 8th. What I think is happening is, because if you're planning your next move, you're going to find and come into that inspiration. You're going to meet yourself in a place where you feel content and ready to plan. And all of a sudden, it just comes together. It's like perfect timing. So whatever you're coming into this season expecting, especially because it's your birthday, and I haven't said it, happy birthday to those Aries out there. And hopefully I said it to you last month, to those of you who have had birthdays around this time in March. Your heart is opening so that you can see the possibilities that are coming through that may have always been there. Think of the Four of Cups, which is not out, but it's also the Four of Swords. Like, mentally, maybe there has been a block, or just it's time for this opening to happen, and all of a sudden there's so much inspiration, and maybe even something that you spiritually connect to, like whatever you spiritually connect to reaches you, and reaches you in a way where it fills a part of you that may have felt like unfillable. And for some of you, it's a part of you that you've been searching for a long time. Aries is the self, right? Some may say Aries, people who have Aries, they you can tell that they have a certain sense of self, but it doesn't mean that they're not searching for something, or to create something, or to be someone, right? There's still guidance that needs to happen there, whether it's from above or from a person or both, or someone who helps remind you of that. Because what's settling in is a sense of your worth that is so connected to the ether and connected to the universe, connected to the crown, which is funny because it's the white in the heart and the throat, or the blue in the throat, the white in the head and the blue in the throat. Not, the heart has nothing to do with this, sorry. But you may be seeing life in a different way, which is coming from this heart opening space, and it helps you understand the direction that you're going in next. When you're going to reveal that, you may work on it for a couple months. This may not be something you're like out here showing as of right now, but the change within you is being noticed. The change, and that's allowing you to also see things differently. New information is coming, and so perfectly just in time, where you've exhausted yourself in one area and you're ready to not just create from the past and from what you were, maybe a sense of self-worth you're trying to fill, that now you have, a lot of you have the time and space, because this is clearing up space within you. You know, you're going through your own spring cleaning, and the outcome is you connecting to something that's for you. Whether you're starting from the ground up in this area or not, or you connected to the right person, this is for you. Some of you may even consider saying this is me, but it's like there's a dedication. So if you're writing a book, you may be dedicating it to someone. Or if you're creating whatever is coming through, you may be dedicating to someone in your life. Could be a Gemini, could be a motherly figure, could be someone who has passed. You're associated with the head, and that is our connection to the ether, to the universe. All of our body parts are our skin is, but the head is where we are informed. It's where we learn language. It's how we translate. And I don't think it's given enough credit that sometimes you translate things so simply that I think some people are looking for it to be decoded, to be something that it's not. But it's so straightforward and it's so real. And I think you're touching, and I see you coming in. I don't just think, you may or may not. This is all just an interpretation, right? But what you're discovering, not to devalue this either, but what you're discovering is that your mind is so connected to the life around you. I think you're going to start to see life in a way where mentally, wherever you are, you're being brought, you're almost like wherever you are in your mind, and then literally wherever you are in your location, you start to connect. You start to see internally and externally. Again, we talked about that a little bit, but you're starting to connect even more of these patterns. You know, you're experiencing a sharp sense of intuition this month that is coming from a big emotional revelation and release. It's more calculated. Like, I don't know if I said this in the beginning because I had to do a couple takes. This is not the first one. Things have been, just roll with it this month too. Like, roll with certain things. Like, whatever's really not that important, don't treat it that way. If something's triggering you or you find that your boundaries are crossed and there's anger coming up, address that, of course. But just know that everyone's just finding direction now. And as everything moves into Aries throughout the month, before we get into Taurus season, everyone will feel like they've found their ultimate direction, and that will be very different. And the egos and the this and the that, and I'm not excited to see people go through it, but I'm just curious to see the shifts and to see if I feel them myself, and I think you will, myself, and you will too. Ultimately, Aries, this is how you show your bravery with yourself and getting you to a clear mind, because I feel like you've been kind of rethinking some things, rehashing some things, and if something has come up from the past, as you're, of course, moving on from it, right? It's something that's also going to help you as you continue on. From the unseen to the very seen, to the fire within your heart that will move you and your soul and your physical body wherever, because we know Aries don't stay still for too long anyway. Thank you so much for being here. I'm excited to get into the next part already. That spiritual relationship, because this is a lot about relationships. That spiritual relationship that you're looking for is coming through, and it's could be a reconnection too. It doesn't just have to be someone new, but this is a new relationship. There's something new happening within your relationships, especially through the voice. You may find that you feel more vocal and others also in return are receptive and more vocal with you. It's that action that also can make you feel uncomfortable, but it's your nervous system settling into this new form of communication that you're doing with yourself as well. And now it's translating into the future. And for Aries risings, this is a lot about you being seen for the work that you've done and the work that you're doing, whether it's internal or external. You're going to be noticed and you will realize what drives you. You may find reconnect or find a deeper connection to what drives you, or you'll feel so inspired by something that you realize like, oh, this is what I've been waiting for. And to that extent, you are opening up your heart, which is opening up your mind and allowing the shift to take place, right? So if you feel ungrounded, you're not working on you getting your body. Especially once Mars, you want to do that before Mars moves into Aries. I'm just saying, because Mercury will also be in retrograde, or Mars is going to move into Pisces first. So you want to do that too. You want to get that settled before next month. The 22nd is when you want to have a routine down by. I would have one down by if I were you. Something, anything, Aries, please, because then you'll just start running your mouth in a way that's like really not beneficial and comes from a lot of unforeseen places. So see yourself, be yourself, and we'll see you in the next part, Aries. Happy birthday. I hope you enjoy, and let's have so much fun this month while also seeing and watching yourself grow. Coffee. Cheers to that.